This is Dr. Jack Barnathan with my good friend, the Renaissance Man, who has so many different areas of expertise. But it's not just expertise. There's lots of smart people who have that, if you will. It's passions for transforming, for awakening, for helping people to see something higher. Danny Beasley. Danny, how are you, pal?
I'm great, Dr. Jack. Good seeing you.
Danny, one of the areas that you grew in and that we've had many conversations, and with all of my decades in the fitness wellness arena, teaching certifications to 50,000 plus live students all over every city imaginable, you had a concept that you developed and that is producing some fascinating things chiseled.
Mhm.
And I always saw it as something that just stood above and apart from the rest of what fitness is seen as or wellness, which is ever evolving. Tell me how Chiseled came about.
Well, it came about when I was on the subway one day, actually, in the DC area, Dr. Jack. I was heading to a job that I was completely done with, you know. As a matter of fact, it was, so I came up in electronics. I had a lot of years in electronics and electronic field. And I was working for a company where, I was making the most I've ever made within this, within the bracket of my field at the time. And I was miserable. And I said, this is not what I need to be continually, continue to do. But
Yeah.
I was in that state when I thought about a friend of mine who had just a bunch of infomercial equipment that they stored. They would constantly buy this infomercial equipment and they would put it in their closets, and they would use it for a week and then it turned into a hanger for their clothes.
Wow.
So I was on the subway and I said, you know what? And the you call it an epiphany came, or a revelation came, or a thought came, to where what is the factor in all of those pieces of equipment that they have? What's the missing link? What's the missing factor that's missing? Because apparently they have the desire to want to change.
Right.
They have the motivation behind the change because they actually buy the product. But they'll get the product, and now they have a closet full of products that they never use. And then it just really hit me hard that what's missing in the field, especially at the time, is that everybody had talked about how easy this is, or you could buy this and it only takes 10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
and all this is just, it's just easy, and you don't have to put in the work. Let's take this shortcut here. And it came to me to where it's like that's not that's not the true way to get there, though. That's
Yeah.
not it. And I had one word in my mind, and that was discipline. So what was lacking was in that equation, right? And this is what the company of Chisel was basically built around, is the equation of people who have a desire to go
Yeah.
out and purchase the infomercial equipment, to go to they want to go to the gym, or they want to look better, they want to feel better, they want to be more healthy, they want to look more healthy. So the desire is in place. um, they do, and they desire results. They're not just, it's not the equipment that they really want. They want the results that the equipment brings. They want the results that they see, that they believe they can actually get to. But so they'll start with the desire and they go a week. They start with the desire and they buy the equipment, and there's always a excitement when you get something new, and you do it
Yeah.
for a couple of days, 3 days, 4 days, and a week, 2 weeks, and the desire has really it's the desire still may be there, but the motivation behind it dies. So the missing factor is the discipline in that equation. So it's the desire times the discipline equals the results.
Yeah.
So Chiseled is built around assisting through mentorship, through a strategic plan, assisting people get from the desire that they have and set up realistic plans with folk who understand how to get you there to get to the results. And the best way and the quickest way to do that is have someone who's available and there for you to motivate you through that process. So Chisel, the core of it is based around that concept, that principle. One other thing I just want to add is not just that, because we're tripart beings. We're not just physical bodies.
Yeah.
We're also a spirit being that possesses a soulish area where we have feelings and emotions and we have a will, decisions that we make out of that area. Well, you have to incorporate all of that into your workout routine in
Yeah.
order to get lasting results.
Yep.
Most people don't. So that's all interwoven in the chisel system because you can't do one without the other. You have to incorporate all three of those aspects because that's who we are. So you
Yeah.
can't just train one part of who we are. We're not just one part. We're a tripart being. That's what the chisel brand is all about.
It- It's it's exciting. It excited me when I first saw you developing it, Danny, and from really an amazing idea, but also seeing how you're able to ignite other people to want to become a part and to also to be reignited in what their personal possibilities could be. And there's enough infomercials out there, enough 3 minutes a day, three times a week, and you lose 300 pounds, and it's like enough of the nonsense. And you've got some exciting things. We won't get into it all now, but there's some really exciting things Danny's going to be introducing and innovating and inspiring you all with. Danny, Beasley, everyone get on Danny's pages. Thank you so much, Danny.
Thank you, Dr. Jack.